Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. Max, we're a black man in a police complex. This can only end well.
This is this for real? Are we live? Did we make it?
I think we did. We've had a couple of technical hiccups here.
Oh, just a couple. Yeah,
Just a couple.
It wasn't like 2.5 hours or anything.
No, it wasn't 2.5 hours of fruitless labor, but no, we're doing this just a little bit different on Play the Hits. I've tinkered with some Twitch settings that allow me to basically operate like a real streamer would, in that I can not only see the gameplay screen now, but also our chat, our feed, our notifications. I can monitor the volume. I can still, of course, see you, and you can still see the game. So I think we're in pretty good shape, even if we're not like maxing out our setup with you being able to see all the stuff, but you can still monitor the chat. So we're good.
Oh yeah, I'm good there. We can actually shout people out when they I don't know, do the what do you call that? Subscribe?
Yeah, we've
I
been
don't
getting
know how
like
Twitch
one
works.
subscriber every 3 months or so, I think we're about due.
Nice.
Though actually, paying attention just a little bit to the feed that I can now actually see. 5 months ago, we got we got 5 subscribers all at once 5 months ago, and I'm not sure what that was
doing
about.
5 months ago? Was
And then no
that wasn't
activity
Yoshi's
for 3
Island.
months after that, but
Yeah.
And that's where I'm headed.
you know.
No. Yeah. We're either feast or famine here. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
If we're gonna
it's
get
all good.
if we're gonna get subscribers for anything, I think it's probably gonna be your FF7 stream with Nick. You guys
Well-
are doing the PlayStation 5 version.
Yeah, only about a year late. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Well, hey, it's good that you waited. I mean, now
Yeah.
now you get to play like the definitive version, basically.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of, we're doing it as part of our Summer in the City theme,
Yeah,
because, you
that's
know, Midgar.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
Yeah, it is a good theme, but at the same time, though, it also kind of kicks off something that I've been wanting to do on this channel, which is replay the hits, where we go back and revisit some games, preferably in like a remake form that we've already done on this channel, but with better audio, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I had heard that one canister of new.
That was the guy you were talking to earlier.
Yeah, this is the president of
CEO
Roxxon, and
guy.
he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yes, Mr. Krieger. I just want to.
So hey, speaking of assholes, what'd you think of E3 this year, Max?
Uh
How you like that segue?
Yeah, that's perfect.
That was perfect. Don't ever
Well,
change.
it was good that Nintendo kind of saved it, because there was not a whole lot
Dude,
going on.
it
Oh my-
was this year. It was fucking Nintendo and a bunch of jabronis. I mean, that is my verdict.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. It was pretty. You know what? The Square one wasn't terrible. There was like
it wasn't
two good
good.
things on
Like,
there. No, it wasn't good.
I'm-
Guardians of the Galaxy was probably one of the best things they had on there.
Yeah, Guardians looked cool. I don't know. Like, I'm a little weary of them after what they did with the Avengers game.
Oh, yeah.
I basically spent $60 on that thing to entertain Connor for a couple afternoons, and when he got tired of it, I was so little invested that I didn't bother to give it a proper finish.
Yeah, and I heard they not the story mode.
No, like,
Okay, 'cause
I
I
mean,
heard
maybe
that's the
one of
best
these
part of
days I'll
it.
go back and do it, especially since I think they have a PS5 patch, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, there's not a whole lot
It
to
was
the
rough.
campaign, because it was supposed to be like, ongoing, service game, but they just had too little in there, and they've been very stingy with the updates.
right.
So people just got bored of it and stopped playing,
Well,
and they were like, oh
that
shit, we
and,
need to
like,
get people
so
back.
so much of the unlockables, which are kind of a pretty big part of that game, were all like pay to play sort of stuff, and a lot of them were just skins.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh well.
No, I ain't Spider-Man. Spider-Man here. You're full of shit, dude.
What I like about Guardians, though, is they said it right there that it's like I think single player only. That it's like basically for the story. It's not supposed to be like Avengers, where it's a game as a service. I think
Correct.
it's
It's supposed to
mostly
be
a single player.
story, and actually, from what they showed, something that I found kind of neat was they sort of do some Mass Effect stuff where, like, you have dialogue options and it's like, oh, Rocket the Raccoon will remember that shit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It kind of seems like an actual sequel to Avengers where it's, you know, the same system. It looks very similar.
Right.
I guess you could say they quote unquote went backwards in a way where you really only play as one character, it looks like, but I like that.
Right. As long as they do
make him
that character
fun.
right, which they seem to be, I would be down for that. The other thing, oh, check out that ray tracing reflection there of Spider-Man on the screen.
Oh yeah, nice.
That is nice. It's subtle, but it's nice. Yeah, so I'm down for that game. I'm willing to give it a chance. But also, like, Guardians was never like my all-time favorite Marvel franchise. So whether it's like, I'll probably wait and watch it and see if it turns out to be good or not before, like, committing to a purchase. It's not like, oh fuck yeah, finally Guardians, I'm sold day one, baby.
Yeah. Speaking of Nintendo coming in and saving the day, like, they just threw Guardians in there too. Like, I was really surprised.
Oh, that was some horse shit, though. Did you see how they did that?
Where it's going to be stream only or something?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but, like, even if it is the future of gaming as we know it, it is so streaming games is so not there yet.
It's not ready for prime time.
No.
Definitely not. And I was like 2 years ago with Stadia, I was pretty excited. I was like, this is going to be awesome.
It is kind of hilarious to me that the Nintendo Switch, which like a full-fledged console in its own right, is actively doing the whole thing that Stadia was created to do.
Yeah.
But just as like a supplementary feature.
Just as a side thing. Yeah.
Well, like it's their side hustle so that they can play modern AAA games on the system.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome. And they're not doing it like all the time. You know, Resident Evil 7, I don't know if they actually ever had a US version of that, but I know they did that in Japan.
The kind of cool thing is that Nintendo may be onto something here, because if they keep that as like an option for their consoles, even if they kind of stick to like, we're not going to be the technological powerhouse like Sony or Microsoft is, but we're still going to keep making really fun game consoles. If streaming kind of comes into its own, they could very easily make that like just a built-in function of all of their future consoles, and, you know, not miss a AAA title.
Yeah, and not have to worry about like the cost when it comes to, you know, because they seem like they're in the business of making like cheaper systems that, you know, kids and the whole family would want to play.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, just having that's a pretty cost-effective solution, you know, and as the technology is only getting better, so it's okay. It's kind of like if you absolutely need to experience the game, it's like, okay, it's an option, but
yeah, right.
You know, it's still kind of buggy. It's still kind of laggy. It's not like quickly responsive yet, you know. So even with a great connection, but it'll get there, I think.
Oh yeah.
But when I didn't notice the little text on that at first, so when that came up, Addie was like, "Oh, is this like?" How are they gonna do that on the Switch? You know, that probably means they have to announce the Switch Pro. And I was like, oh shit, I think you're right. But
No.
I was a little surprised they didn't announce that.
You know, so I loved my PS4 Pro, but I think I made the comment to you that I wouldn't do that again. Like,
yeah.
I would not drop another $500 to $600 purchase on a console halfway through a console generation.
Yeah,
and
I get
so
that.
so help me God, when the PS5 Pro comes out, you remind me of those words and you say, Chris Beck, fuck you, don't waste your money.
Unless there's some crazy I remember Xbox had like a really generous, like they would buy your Xbox 360 back for like $150 to like something like that when
they would
came out with the black
lower
one.
the price of the new console for you.
Yeah, it was so if Sony does something like that, which they won't,
no,
because they're Sony, then I'd say it's a-okay. But yeah, I get you. Like the PS4 Pro was such a incremental improvement, and then the PS5 is just like such a, okay, this blows it out of the water. Like, yeah, you can kind of have your cake and eat it too when it comes to like how you're playing this right now.
I can see like the PS5 Pro, like the natural direction to go would be that all of the games suddenly become 4K compatible at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
Instead of 4K ray tracing 30 FPS and 1080 ray tracing 60 FPS, which honestly, like I've told you, I've been playing all of my games in performance mode if I have that option, just because I care way more about 60 FPS than I do about 4K resolution.
Oh yeah, I get it.
And I say that as
Especially
someone with a TV that was built for
anyway.
4K.
Yeah. Because you're still having this like in 2K resolution that's upscaled, right?
It is.
Like,
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's still technically
on your
higher than
TV.
1080p.
Yeah. Oh, much hot. Like on your TV, I'm sure it looks gorgeous.
Right.
Still,
like,
you know.
Like FF7 Remake Integrate is actually the prime example because they completely redid all the textures. It actually, even at performance mode, looks noticeably better than the PS4 version.
Oh hell yeah!
And at the same time, I'm still getting all of the friggin' beautiful FPS. Like that game is as great as it looked on PS4. I swear to God, the combat system and the gameplay was built to be running at 60 FPS. It is.
Yeah.
It is,
that game is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, and yes, on PS4 it was gorgeous, but it's especially the particle effects and everything. Like on 60 FPS,
Right.
is just like. It's so good. It makes me look at FF15 that came out just a few years prior, and I love that game, and I love the battle system. But I'm like, no, they can't go back to this. Like,
no. Well,
unless it's like
the battle system was the weakest point of that game's play. I mean, like it was so half baked, and even by the time they completed it with DLC, it feels like they kind of slapped together a whole bunch of like not quite ideas.
It
whereas
definitely
FF7
feels that way.
FF7, they clearly built that game first off to be played, you know?
Yeah, and it's just FF15 never really got deep, and you could cheese it with the items like pretty easily. FF7 1 is a difficult game. It has a learning curve.
It's like
for sure.
It's actually possible to lose fights in that game because you can't cheese the items. Like you have. In fact, the one and only beef I have with FF7 is that sometimes when you waste your ATB gauge and you start to use an item or a spell, may not get completed.
No,
if
that's
you're not
true.
paying attention.
And that's kind of part of the difficulty, but it's definitely frustrating sometimes.
It is frustrating, but I think it could have been solved like you take the hit and you take the damage, but you get to keep your ATB gauge unless the action gets carried through to completion.
For me, it's like lose half the ATB. I would be cool with that, where it's just like, hey, you didn't time it exactly right. Although sometimes it really is just like kind of bad luck.
Yeah, right. Like to me, the HP loss, especially if you're trying to heal and you get interrupted, the HP loss is sufficient. I think. I don't think you need to take the ATB gauge away too.
Yeah. That's definitely. There's some fights in that. The Hell House fight was like, I'm like, what the hell is this really supposed to be like this?
Yeah,
and then
I'm
I see
convinced
people...
I did that fight wrong. It took me so long.
I know, but it's supposed to be an annoying fight, I think. But
yeah, but
that
like,
is a game
not a
where...
half-hour fight, I don't think.
Yeah, mine was basically that too.
Like I literally just whittled him down to nothing.
I mean, speed runs and stuff, but I see people doing like no hit, with this boss fight or something, and that game is deep. Like you can. I was like, hey, I got pretty good at this, and then seeing people like just use haste with Tifa and then just go to town on someone, switching when they need to, and it's just like, oh man, you could become a beast. Like, but anyway, the game is so pretty to look at. I think one of the biggest things is they redid some textures, but there were so many textures that were supposed to just like look good, and they would never load.
Right.
Which it really was like they made it for a more powerful
system. They did
system.
fix quite a few of those in the in Integrate, which ultimately kind of makes me think that this was a game that was designed with next-gen like Ghost of Tsushima, where they really built it with next-gen hardware in mind, but they could make it run on the PS4, so why not release it on the PS4?
Yeah, I really feel like they were, building on PC, and then they were like, we're just gonna go balls out and obviously make it so that it worked, but
Right.
maybe it was just like, oh, we didn't really polish this up enough to, or make it efficient enough, and those textures would just never load sometimes.
It's the game may have glitched.
Oh,
It's
shit.
it's not letting me out of here.
Getting out of the wheel. Oh shit.
Yeah, no, and the
hell?
enemies have stopped moving in slow-mo, but I'm still moving in slow-mo. That was a glitch. Well,
Have
Whoops.
you ever seen that?
no, I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
All right, well, now we're out. Doesn't matter.
Wait.
I think the game got tired of me just dicking around with those enemies.
You need to lay low. Don't trust anybody, and don't take off that mask. Wait till Roxanne finds a better target.
I'm the only one who thinks
Interesting
the Prowler
dynamic.
has the way cooler costume.
Yeah.
Your friends that
Like, he actually looks like he's ready for
He-
some combat. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
he has some
I could
tech.
cut through Spider-Man's uniform with a butter knife.
He has like the Iron Man like mask and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. But anyways, yeah, so going back to E3 and Square Enix in particular, I think Stranger in Paradise, I did play the demo, by the way, and it's hot garbage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it plays good, but no better than any other, like, just by-the-books action game that I've played. And,
Okay.
people get stupid when they
like, I don't care if the main character ends up becoming the Warrior of Light, or whether it directly ties into FF1 in any meaningful way. They made the world, at least in this portion of it, maybe the rest of the game will be different, but the portion that they let you play is so gray and so boring and so it looks like a late-gen PS3 game.
Yeah.
Like, it's
that's
bad.
kind of what I got from it too.
Well, like,
At
I've
least just
shared with
looking
you
at
that,
it.
like, PS3 is probably my least favorite generation of consoles, because for, like, PS3 and Xbox 360, the constant, like, recurring theme was everything had to be, like, gray and brown and gritty and realistic, and I
They
was
tried to
so
be
thrilled when the
realistic.
PS4 got away from that. Who would have thunk that Square Enix, of all developers, would be the company to slip back into that? I mean, what a...
You could kind of see it with FF15, you know.
Yeah, but even
that-
15 had enough variety to like they were definitely going for a more realistic world, but there was still some high fantasy here. Like,
Oh, for sure.
with Stranger in Paradise, it's like I don't know. It's like if Walmart built a castle, you know, like the most generic looking, non-inspiring background you could imagine.
Did it get repetitive with, like, as far as the finishers and everything?
Oh yeah, like I got so tired of doing those.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that game, one, it needs some work, which is like, okay.
I will say that it was a decent challenge. Like the challenge
Yeah.
didn't feel cheap. Like you had to just get good and beat enemies. But again, you can get that better in other games. And it's definitely not like a Souls type. It's more like a Ninja Gaiden type.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was like a, not like super fast paced, but not like a old Souls game or something.
Yeah, no, you can definitely button mash.
Okay.
I mean, you're rewarded for thinking about what you're doing, but it's not like a Souls game where every parry is life and death.
Yeah. And I don't know, Square is so, you could tell it's a few different, companies under this umbrella, obviously. With Eidos and everything, especially the Western stuff.
Well,
but
the nice thing
even
is the Eidos or whatever you call them, or
Yeah.
sorry, I'm thinking of Enix. So the Enix half of Square Enix seems to be pretty intact, but it's like Square just like it's not
Yeah.
confident in its laurels anymore, you know?
Yeah. But there's still some teams like the people who've done Octopath and Project Triangle.
Right. But
That was
they
a little weird.
relegate those to like either the like they don't make those their headliner games anymore.
No.
Like
But
you'll never
they're-
see Bravely Default lead their E3 lineup,
No.
and, which is a shame
And
because
it's
I
kinda
just
sad.
purchased Bravely Default 2 and it's wonderful.
I was about to say, well, what do you think?
I love it.
Okay.
I love Bravely Default. I love Bravely Second when you picked that up for me, and I love Bravely Default 2. I mean, they have their rough patches, but overall, it's a lot like playing. It's almost like they decided to give Final Fantasy V a bunch of spin-off sequels.
Yeah.
Which is,
Oh
I mean,
my-
because the job system is straight up Final Fantasy V, which is
Yeah.
my favorite playing SNES game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would, when it comes to the Final Fantasies, as far as like having fun with 1 through 6, I would have to agree that 5's was definitely. I mean,
But like
6 was.
5 could kick your ass if you weren't paying attention.
Oh yeah.
And
Seriously.
the jobs and the combat was so good. Like even by modern standards, it's good. Like you can
It's
can
still good.
approach
Yeah.
battles completely differently depending on your job class.
Oh yeah.
And
just
the
so many
secret
different
bosses
combinations
were
with 4
challenging.
people.
And, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. 6 was, none of them were as complicated as 5.
Right.
And 6 was fun in that it was just like, with the World of Ruin especially, hey,
yeah.
here's a lot of shit you can get.
Oh yeah,
And
I love
how much
love
more powerful are
6's
you gonna-
extras and like hidden stuff the best, and I also loved 6's story the best. But as far as like the game that I feel like I actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the game that was like the most engaging to actually play had to go to
Yeah.
5.
If there was something like extra dungeons that barely had any story, and it was more like a challenge of gameplay, 5 would be the most fun.
Right.
And I'm sure the advanced version did have that stuff. I never played the
Yeah,
advanced
actually,
version.
the advanced and mobile version of it have excellent optional dungeons that take you to a really fun, actually a couple really fun optional bosses.
Nice. 4 Advance was great because, I mean, it had the optional stuff, but I think that was the game on SNES that was most in need of a retranslation.
Yes.
And it got a good one.
It did.
But I wish they made them like, I see the sprite, so the Square, going back to the Square showcase,
Yeah.
I saw, before I saw the showcase itself, I saw there was like a trailer for like Pixel, what is it, Pixel Remaster? And I was like,
That's
holy
the
shit.
last thing that I wanted to talk about from Square were the Pixel remakes. Or the HD Pixel, whatever they call it.
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
You first.
So I saw that and I was like, well, let me just watch the whole stream, and then I'll see it when it comes up.
Uh-huh.
And holy shit, I was so disappointed because 1, barely a trailer, but 2, the look of it, not that it looks bad. It kind of looks like a more updated, like better version of the mobile games, those graphics.
Right.
But after hearing that they were redoing the Dragon Quest, at least like Dragon Quest 3 and maybe some others in the Octopath
style,
engine,
I know.
I was like, well, why wouldn't they do that for Final Fantasy? That's what I thought that was.
Well, have you
Like-
Googled it and like actually seen the people who like zoomed in and picked apart all of the sprites and everything?
I have, yeah.
So they're it's like you said, they're good. They're a step up from the mobile games, but in a weird way, like whereas FF1, 2, and 3 definitely look better than the NES. 6, which you can see quite a bit of, actually in a weird way kind of looks like a strange step back.
What's the real reason?
Like
I
like
get
the
that.
the sprites are more accurate to their SNES counterparts, but it's like they lost all the depth.
I was just gonna say almost the same thing. Like they're more, you could say, anatomically accurate, and you can make out things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost like they lost detail.
Yeah, like for
and
instance, you can really
especially-
see it in Locke's hair. Like in the sprite they showed of Locke, his hair is just like slate gray. Whereas in the SNES, it almost looked like there was some light bouncing off of it in a weird
there was-
pixely
yeah.
kind of way.
His hair was like textured, and there was like different color to it. Like you said, yeah, like there was light going through it.
Yeah.
And I think also part of it is people sometimes look at those old sprites and the old like pixel art especially, and they're like, this doesn't look that good. And it's like they actually made that stuff to be on an old CRT TV.
Correct.
They made it so that it would have the scan lines, and it sounds counterintuitive, but they did it in such a way that the scan lines would actually add some of the detail for them.
Yes.
So you don't get the whole picture until you see it with like scan lines,
Right.
and it's like, oh, that actually adds quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Like for
that wouldn't be
instance,
true.
You've
games
bought
these days.
you've bought 1 or 2 of those like little what are they called, like micro beads where people like
Hey, we don't have to
Oh yeah,
talk, get into my personal matters here.
maybe
so.
I'm using the wrong word. So those like little pixel art things where people solder the beads
yes.
together.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Celeste's Maria one and a Locke one. Yeah.
Okay, so you do have some. All right. So with those, like they are 100% accurate to the pixels, correct? But at the
Yes.
same time, you know, they're blown up and they're like right in front of you, so it's like, hey, even though this is really cool, like in my mind, I remember it looking different because it did look different. Like the scan lines on CRT TVs softened the pixels. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't just like this, you know, 16 by 16 block of pixels that's, you know, crunched together to make a facsimile of a character. Like it actually looked like, you know, more of like an anime kind of like little sprite model.
Yeah. Like they literally made some things that without the scan lines looks kind of weird almost. Like
Right.
they would use it to their advantage to like fake shadows.
That's part of the
or to,
reason, like when you play them
fill in
on
color.
an HD TV and there's no scan lines, it's like, whoa, this is kind of rough because
Yeah, you really do need the option. And it's not, sometimes it is for nostalgia, I'll admit. Sometimes it's like, okay, I just want to add this to get that experience again.
Right.
But some things really don't look right.
No.
Like they knew they were there. They didn't just ignore them. Like that was part of like making pixel art, you know, was using them to your advantage. So, and someone actually on Reddit kind of pointed that out, and they were running like, because some people were saying like, oh, of course this looks better than the pixel art from back then. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, okay, well, one, even without the scan lines, no, it doesn't for the most part.
Right.
But two, run this through there and look at it now, and it's like there's actually detail there.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, absolutely.
and depth. Yeah, like you said, depth was a good word.
And you know, granted, these games are not out yet, so I'm not ready to pass judgment. And you know, we also don't know what they're doing with the translations and the ballot. Like we could be getting
True.
like totally new translations for some of these games, particularly for Final Fantasy III on the NES.
I was about to,
Yeah.
because the DS version is like almost a new game,
Right. Like if these
when
were to
we step
come
into
out like as a
Cyberpunk.
Nintendo Switch collection or something like that, I would very much definitely buy these games again. But I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious to see one,
shit.
how like the sprites in their finished form look, and two, like what other extras they're tacking on.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see that. And
Like at the
I
bare minimum,
also,
we better be getting the GBA content.
yeah, it's like, why not? Right? But because it doesn't take away from it. The GBA content is always just endgame stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I criticize because I love, you know. I'm also gonna buy it. Like it's kind of a foregone
It's classic
conclusion.
Final Fantasy. It's like a no-brainer
Of
for you
course,
and
I'm
me.
gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But it does make me miss like the PSP games and I never played the after years
Oh, that was
PSP
the best
version.
one.
Yeah, I could figure because the PSP versions were like the definitive, like old classic version of those games. You know, well, they didn't have the FF4 PSP version didn't have the extra dungeons, did it? I don't think so.
No, it did.
It did?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
after years is still the best way to play FF4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the PSP collection is like it's better than the DS version, I will say.
And the DS version is its own thing and
Yeah.
a great game.
Right,
But if you want
the
that
DS version is a
experience,
full remake, as far as I'm
the
concerned.
DS version. Here's the thing: the DS version I love, but I don't get nostalgia from it like I would playing the original.
Right.
But the PSP, I get that nostalgia.
Yep.
Because it's just the same game, but
With high res
beautiful.
sprites, yeah.
yes, it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's just like an enhanced, like not completely we're gonna redo these songs and make them all. No, they're just a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if the Super Nintendo was like twice as powerful or something. That's all it is.
Yeah, right.
you
Like
know?
like
and it's
if
great.
FF4 had been a PS1 game instead of
Right?
an SNES game, this is what it would have looked like.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's I wish, you know, if they were doing a remake, yes, the Octopath would be fantastic. But if they couldn't do that, give me the PSP remakes again. Do something in the vein of that, you know.
Yeah.
Do like FF3 in that style.
Yeah.
That
But
would
you
be
know,
wonderful.
like you said, I'm curious to see what they actually end up doing, like what the finished product looks like and plays like.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? Do you think you're going to get the Dragon Quest games when they're remade?
Dragon Quest, no question. Like I may even pre-order Dragon Quest 3.
Okay.
But I'm also sure it won't be hard to find. Like if they have a special edition for it, then definitely.
Is it just 3 that they're redoing, or
Only
is it the
3.
only thing that's announced?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So
I mean,
I
3
think,
is.
I think they may be
She needs me at home.
doing something with some of the other older games. What I really want to see is you know how they did
I need to help with
a Nintendo Switch collection of 1, 2, and 3,
1, 2,
but
3?
like the classic sprite-based games,
Thanks.
not the
They're almost
3
like
remake.
Yeah, they're like Mario All Stars versions or something. Like,
Correct. Yeah, I want to see 4, 5, and 6 on the DS re-released as a Switch trilogy pack.
Okay. Yeah, that would be cool.
Because at that point, I would own every single Dragon Quest game that you can own except for 10 in the mainline series. And I would be
10 being, do we have to count 10? Like,
no, because 10's garbage. Well, I mean, if you like MMOs, I'm sure it's great, but I just, like, even if it was available to us, I wouldn't play it. Just because, you know, like, I've played and enjoyed precisely one MMO, and that was FF14.
Yeah. Dude, I need to play like a single Dragon Quest game, or I should say beat, because I played one when it was Dragon Warrior when I was a little kid, and I've seen you play a bit, but I really am missing out on those games. Just like I'm missing out on a lot of like PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah,
you know, like there's a lot I gotta catch up on. I think.
Should I try to stealth these jabronis, or should I just
stealth them, man? Stealth them.
Stealth them. All right.
You gotta
for you, baby.
You gotta start that way. Yes, please. You son of a bit! What the?
That's stealth. That's still stealth.
Okay, he deserves to die. I'm sorry. Survival of the fittest, or at least the not brain dead.
Right. That was stealth. I swear to God.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't argue with you. He didn't notice you.
He doesn't know that he's dead. Let's see here. I'm only gonna get one guy off this, really?
Okay, is there? Oh, there's a camouflage meter, huh?
Yes.
I just noticed that up there.
Like I can't just camouflage whenever I feel like it. Okay, I'm gonna get 2.
Okay.
I'll get 2 of them. Let's give it another second here.
3?
No, I think the 3rd guy is below them.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. It's worth it. Danger, danger. What was that? What was the name of that annoying ass robot from Power Rangers?
No? Huh. Shit.
Alfalfa?
I should know this. I
Alpha
feel like
5.
Alpha 5, because I wanted to say Alfalfa too. I was gonna say either Alfalfa or like Ayaya or something.
Or Ayaya.
That's what he said.
That was his fucking catchphrase for some reason.
What in the fuck?
Perfect.
What's that guy? Look how high I can jump.
I'm fucking awesome. Oh no. Turns out his weakness is electricity.
God, too bad that's everyone's weakness.
Right? Too bad that's man's weakness. Yeah.
Also, am I crazy, or like is Blizzard like in FF7 remake, I should say, is Blizzard almost useless as a spell? Like most things in that game are like either
like, I don't think I cast Blizzard on anything. It was all lightning.
Yeah, it's either lightning for every machine ever, or fire. Like you could just fight the guys, because the humans were never like that bad, but the grenadiers or the skatey guys, the ones who were kind of annoying, every dude was weak to fire.
Right.
You know? Ice was like, oh, here's this little spider thing at one point in the game that's no, who cares?
Right.
No.
Come on, stop clapping, walk over there. Come on, someone else go check it out. Yes. Good choice.
That noise. Nice.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
He should have had me.
Yeah, right. I've what? Oh, okay. I thought it was just levitating. I have heard that well, I guess I'll ask you this. What Dragon Quest do you think is your favorite?
11. Even though it's the
I was about to
newest.
say.
So Dragon Quest is genuinely one of those series that each one that they release is better than the last.
Yeah.
With the sole exception maybe of 9 and 10. Like 9 was a great DS game, but it was just noticeably different from what I loved about the other Dragon Quest games.
Yeah. Seemed like they were trying to take it in a different path, but almost like this is what Dragon Quest is going to be now. Is kind of our, I don't know, our B series.
Yeah, and that was kind of it. It sort of felt like, they were going for like, before like mobile gacha games were all the rage. I kind of feel like it was like the DS equivalent of a gacha game, because there was all this online stuff that you could do by connecting it to that horribly clumsy Nintendo DS Wi-Fi adapter. And that was like the only way you could get like optional equipment, optional costumes, just stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does kind of suck. And that's a game that years in the future, if you're playing it again or emulating it or something, it doesn't quite work, and it feels like it's missing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll suck.
Whereas you could definitely pop in like Dragon Quest VII on the PS1, and even though it looks noticeably dated, you're still getting a full experience.
Yeah. Okay, so Dragon Quest VIII or Dragon Quest V?
Ooh, so I love Dragon Quest VIII's world and combat system. I love Dragon Quest V's story.
Dragon Quest V, and again, I need to play just any of these games. Really.
Weirdly enough, just like Final Fantasy V is like the Japanese darling of the series, like Dragon Quest V is also the Japanese darling of that series.
Yeah. And I feel like they came out
Japan,
almost
5 for both Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy was like where it's at.
Yeah, that was I'm thinking about that must have been like a golden, 1 or 2 years for them. But then I think about here in the States when like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger and Earthbound all came out in like those 2-year span. Not even.
Right.
Holy shit. Like that was fucking great. All of those games. I mean, Earthbound I still have fond memories of too, even though it was mostly like watching Jim play.
Right. So Earthbound, all of my fond memories are when it came out on the freaking Wii U.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that was the first time I ever actually got to play that game. Because I totally missed it on the SNES.
Oh okay. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's not like Mario RPG. It's like has cutesy vibes, but it's also like dark, not in an Illusion of Gaia way, just dark and like a wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, like did they really just do that, or am I imagining it?
It's a weird one, and it's so weird that it's like Nintendo.
Yeah,
like
it was Nintendo taking risks back when Nintendo took risks.
Oh, for sure. And that is still one of the, like, when is Mother 3 coming is a meme for a reason. It's like, why isn't it here? Like, I can't believe we don't have an official version of that game.
I can't believe Nintendo released the original NES game, but not Mother 3.
The original NES game sucks.
The original SNES game is fucking garbage. And they're like touting it as like, see where the magic all began. No, you're wrong, Nintendo.
With fucking Nintendo, like, no, I'm sorry.
God, that was bad. I actually tried to play it. It's not good. It's not playable.
Yeah. I mean, I think if like
NES
you're offering
games,
it,
like, just have not aged gracefully.
Oh, for sure. And it is interesting that they actually dressed it up. It looks like they actually put some work into it. With actually, there was a lot of games on the Wii that were like exclusive to the what do you call that? Not the eShop, but it was like the Wii something store.
Oh,
that
the Wii
are like forgotten games.
The Weenus store.
But because there was like a Contra adventure game, a Castlevania
who the fuck
adventure
but Spider-Man could open that shit?
That's
Well,
true.
What fucking henchman is doing that?
It's a group of henchmen. It's like their whole shift.
Oh god. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I got on the Wii all of a sudden, but it's like, yeah, Earthbound 0 / Mother 1, not a great game. Earthbound though, fantastic game.
Yeah.
Mother 3, I'm sure is a fantastic game. It definitely was for
It's
the
supposed
first
to be
2
the best in the
hours.
series, but
Oh yeah,
we just haven't
I
gotten
gotta
to
play
experience
it.
it.
I don't know why. I started playing it and then I stopped for some reason. So there's an English patch. It's not hard to find.
But I keep holding out. Like like if I play it, I want it to
Miles
be
butt.
Nintendo giving it to me. Like it's kind
I
of
get
like
it.
the fan translation of Seiken Densetsu 3 or Trials of Mana, right?
Mhm.
Like I played it for years on the emulator, but I never like I really liked it, but I never quite felt like I was getting like the real experience.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't
Even
feel
though the fan
like a
translation
Nintendo.
was great, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta be careful of fan translate. Some of them are really awesome, and
Some
then
of
you
them
get
not so
things that
awesome.
are like we're gonna use every time they say Ksama, we're gonna say bastard or motherfucker. And
Right.
It's like they're not cursing that much,
No.
like for real.
And yeah, it's just a weird. I don't know. Like maybe it's a quirk of me personally, but I think there's something about getting the game that the game's creators want you to get.
Yeah,
You know, and
Chief
which is
Chemist.
totally like
And
I don't know,
Roxanne killed him.
ham-fisted, I guess, because like I'm well aware that, like for instance, SquareSoft's mid '90s translations were terrible.
yeah.
And so like there
I
too,
won't stop
you know,
until
you're not
Roxanne's
getting the
gone.
full story or the full experience. And in fact, the fan translations of those SNES games actually probably had something to offer in that they were maybe a little closer to the original Japanese. But you're right.
Or
There's
or
something
actually
stupid
making you
about like
understand.
hearing these like beloved characters dropping F-bombs every 5 minutes. It
Yeah.
just doesn't fit.
One of the first fan translations I played of FF4 was definitely like it was a little too like aggressive.
Was that the one where
And-
Edge was like a serial abuser to Rydia or something?
Yes.
I remember. I think I played that same translation. I was like, "What the?" Like Edge talked about like hitting Rydia, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, like he was like a 50s like American husband or something all
yeah,
of a
it
sudden.
was-
Yeah.
that was bizarre. Like, and you know, I get that some of the people on the internet who know enough Japanese to do a fan translation may also not be the most socially well-adjusted people.
Yes. So they're taking kind of matters into their own hands a
Right,
little bit
like
and wanting to make
this is
cool.
how you treat a woman who contradicts you. It's like, no, stop.
Yeah, they
Stop.
because there was some translation. I remember seeing this years later. There was actually something for FF4 specifically comparing some of the fan translations.
Yeah.
And that one in particular, I found out that there was some things that didn't translate at all. They
Right.
just like were taking the story into their own hands. It's like,
This
okay,
is just
you
like
can't
what
do
they
that.
thought it should have said. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Which again is why I'm weary of fan. There was one. We've talked about this before when we played FF6 on this channel. You and I played Ted Woosley Uncensored, which I think is the best possible fan translation.
Yeah.
But it's only so good because they don't really do anything original. They just marry the GBA and the SNES translations.
Yeah.
But
They basically-
they don't take any liberties. But there was
Yeah.
another FF6 translation where they did take a bunch of liberties, and Cyan straight up calls this woman a whore, and it's like, what? Why?
Yeah, it's the GBA version. I think they didn't. Cyan wasn't like super proper, just like Frog. They did that too. There's something about. I think Woosley translated Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo, didn't he?
I think so, but don't quote me on it.
Yeah, if he didn't, it seems like they were doing the same thing with people who had like talked very like kind What do you call that? Like not
like
proper,
more
but like
soft-spoken-
respectful.
Yeah, right. Like more
Like respectful
soft-spoken
Japanese,
characters, right?
Like they would give them that kind of
Old English.
old English accent
Right.
or style of speaking, and I liked that, and then they took that out, and it's like, okay, maybe that wasn't the most accurate thing, but oh god, you idiot, Miles.
Miles, no. Miles, why? Oh,
He
God.
doesn't-
He just forgot how to be Spider-Man for a little bit.
He doesn't have enough fear.
He doesn't have enough fear. I sense not enough fear in you, strangely. like the bad guy's trying to have the bad guy talk with him. Like, oh, you have great fear. Oh, wait, no. You're not nearly afraid enough.
What the hell's wrong with you?
You need to be more afraid.
Yeah.
Spider-Man does what he
There's
wants.
too many. You played Terranigma as well, right? You beat Terranigma,
No,
didn't you?
no.
Oh, you didn't?
Terranigma. Okay, so I'm so embarrassed about my experience with Terranigma. I played like the first hour and a half of it, and I had started to think that, oh man, the whole game is just this stupid tower, and so I stopped playing it.
Okay.
Which is such a huge mistake, because it was actually only when I became really good friends with Nick, and he told me more about Terranigma, that I realized, holy shit, I completely missed this, like, gem of a game.
Yeah. I mean, I've missed it too, but it's just, there's really no reason. And I can't tell you how many times I've replayed some of my favorite games, which I don't regret, but it's also like, there's a lot of games that I've never played that I've always heard good things about and seen like Let's Plays and stuff.
Right.
And it's like, I gotta play these games. I really, Terranigma, I was talking to you the other day about listening to this playlist, which actually is like a 3-hour playlist on YouTube that's fucking awesome.
Uh-huh.
And some of the music from like Legend of the Dragoon, I was like, oh shit. Like,
Dude, Legend of Dragoon was so good.
like, this is some good music. Oh, and then what was it? Just today I was listening to it and I was like, oh man, Parasite Eve had some bangers too. That was a great game.
Wait, which game?
Parasite Eve.
Oh,
like,
yeah, the first
even
Parasite Eve. Holy crap.
the first one, yeah, for sure. Like, even when you just started the game, before the title screen, if you just sit there and listen to the like, oh my god. Great,
you know, weirdly
great song.
enough, I don't remember enough of that game's music. I'm gonna have to pop that in and check it out. That would be a fun one to play on this channel, but I'd like you to
that
do
would
it because
be.
I feel like I only ever played through it once, and I remember you like playing through it at my mom's house and like doing a much better job than I did.
You know what's weird though is I've never beaten the second one.
Me neither. Like I've gotten relatively far in it, but have always like it's one of those games where like I can remember the day that I stopped playing it, and that day was when FF9 came out, and I was like, I'll come back to this 21 years later.
Yeah, and then the
I'll
third
come
one
back to
we
this.
don't talk about. But the second, I think the farthest I ever got was like the second encounter with that weird ass guy in the
fire dude.
Yeah, with the you got a flamethrower or something.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well.
But yeah, the second game wasn't nearly as good.
No, it wasn't. But at the same time, I don't think it was quite as bad as people give it shit for. It just wasn't. Like, they should have kept it more of an RPG than a Resident Evil clone.
Yeah, they definitely should have. And it took a lot of since the mystery was kind of gone and the horror was not nearly as present.
Dude,
that one.
The first game was straight up unnerving.
Oh
in a
my
lot
god!
Of parts.
Are you kidding me? With that first opera house trying to escape from there,
dude, like that had one of the strongest openings of any game I've ever played.
Oh hell yeah! Oh my god! And then just like seeing things transform for the first time.
Oh
and
my god,
like,
the rats!
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even though it was an RPG, like I had to pause it and be like, oh, I don't want to fight this thing.
Yeah, that game was unnerving.
I'm just gonna fight these guys because I'm tired of their shit. Oh shit, snipers!
Oh,
snipers! Leave me the fuck alone!
A lot of snipers.
I should have stealth killed the snipers.
Yeah.
I made a mistake, Max. Ow!
Yeah, they do a good job of scaling the difficulty, like making stealth the good option, you know? What you're doing is like so possible, but it gets hairy when you have 3 people sniping you and a grenade coming. Like, it gets overwhelming in a fun kind of way.
It does. But it's also part of the challenge because if you can't tell, I'm decent at the combat.
Yeah.
And they give you so many things, so many options for combat that it's a lot of fun.
And the thing is, I'm always looking at if I feel like I don't get the bonus objectives, I feel like I failed, you know? And
yeah,
it's a lot more. It would be a lot easier if they didn't put those there. It's like, but they usually build it in a way where you got to vary the combat, you know, a bit.
Yeah, and for me right now, having already platinum this game, I feel like totally liberated to do what I want to do. So.
Oh yeah.
So long. Was that it? That was seriously it.
Yep.
That was nothing.
Not too bad. That was a lot quicker than stealthing them. Yeah.
You guys meant nothing to me.
I'm Spider-Man. Who are you?
Who the fuck are you? Miles just starts losing his cool a little bit. Like, whoa, Miles. Who the fuck are you? What have you done? What have you done? Answer me! Breathe, you fucker! Oh my gosh, Miles, please.
I like how they programmed wherever you're at, there's like pigeons.
Yeah, right,
that
there's
come
always
around
pigeons.
You. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love this reference. Watch these mannequins.
There's the jammer. They kept trophies from their fights with Tombstone. How sentimental.
Oh, come on. Nope, come on. There we go. Alright, now watch this shit. Yeah.
Those mannequins?
Really?
No.
Resident Evil reference. Oh!
This place is ours.
Which I actually think before it was a Resident Evil reference, it was a Doctor Who reference.
There's the Angels with Doctor Who. It's also I think it was kind of a glitch, but it was a well-known one. It was a Oblivion reference.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I played the shit out of Oblivion, and I don't know that reference.
Okay, tipping off the cops.
It's I don't remember where it's at, but yeah, there's definitely like some kind of like kind of a glitch with these like wooden mannequins or something, and they would chase you and kill you or something like that.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't play too much Oblivion. Actually, I didn't play much Morrowind either, but I played a lot more Morrowind. No, or was it Oblivion? Actually, now that I think about it.
Okay, were you in like a place with big mushrooms, or were you in a place with a lot of grass?
I guess it was Morrowind. Yeah.
Okay, it was Morrowind.
With
because I mean, those are very
Morrowind's-
visually distinct games from each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to do the next like story quest because we don't have enough time to finish it, so I'm just dicking around here while we're finishing our talk.
Okay. Oblivion was kind of the Oblivion Gates was kind of a cool gimmick in that game though, where it's just like, what the fuck?
So Oblivion, I really enjoyed Oblivion for the time that it came out, and one of my favorite stories of that is I had a evil character. Like my whole goal with this one was to take over the Shadow, not the League of Shadows. What's it called? The Dark Brotherhood.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was my Dark Brotherhood character, but I was out like just exploring one day, and
Yeah.
I came upon the unicorn, which
Oh,
if you're
you told me
if you're a
this.
good character, a holy character, he'll become your steed, right?
Yeah.
I was not a holy character, and so he tried to murder me. And like all I had done in that game so far was the Dark Brotherhood quest, so I was not very high level. Like I was high enough level to get past those quests, but I don't think I was even at like level 20 yet.
Yeah.
So like I had developed my stealth perks, and that's about it. And so I tried to like hide from this thing. No, it wasn't having it. It was like finding me everywhere. So
Is it
I
like chasing you into towns or
right.
something?
Well, and that's the thing. If you were in combat in that game, you couldn't fast travel.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to get fucking away from this thing. So I do. I run into a town, it follows me into a town. I run into an inn to like spend the night and try to stay there, and I come out of the inn, and I shit you not, the fucking unicorn glitched up onto the roof. And so, like, I thought I was safe for a second, and then I can hear him, and I'm like, what? And then he just jumps down from the roof on me. A fucking unicorn.
Didn't you have to, like, shoot fireballs for, like, a couple hours at this unicorn or something?
Oh, did I tell you this story before?
You have, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so, ultimately, the way that I decided to kill it was, all right, well, I'm just going to keep running. Like, Cyrodiil is a big fucking map. I'm just going to keep running, and I'm going to use my level 1 magic fireball and just wipe him out. And wouldn't you know it, an hour and a half later, that was a dead unicorn.
Nice.
Wow.
Wait, what the fuck?
That was
Are you serious?
embarrassing.
Were you doing, like, a smash on the ground, and he just, like...
And he just, like,
zapped
donkey
you?
punched me? Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Wow, these are the easiest bonus objectives ever. Hey, we got a follower. Icy Death Zone 45. Welcome aboard. Woo! Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks.
Boom. But yeah, that's my only really good Oblivion story. No, you're not. You're doing nothing.
Yeah, those are interesting games, but I never... I mean, I can't say I beat any of them.
I definitely beat the hell out of Oblivion and Skyrim.
Yeah. I played them, but it was like, I wasn't super interested in them. Most Western RPGs in general.
Until The Witcher.
Until really The Witcher, yeah. And The Witcher just blew me the fuck away. Like,
Dude,
I had so much fun with that game.
I think people who never played an RPG ever would find something to enjoy about The Witcher 3.
Oh, I agree.
Well,
Definitely.
like, that's one of those games. It's kind of like in 1997 where people who had never played a Final Fantasy could still enjoy FF7. Like,
Yeah.
people who don't really care for medieval fantasy would still like The Witcher.
Yeah. It's just it's a good story, you know, despite the setting too. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't like high fantasy, it's like, okay. But
You're still going to find something, because, you know, part of it is that it kind of I hate to compare it to Game of Thrones because, you know, Game of Thrones, but it does kind of the Game of Thrones thing where it subverts what you expect from medieval fantasy.
Yeah, that's another one that got regular Joes into what is a fantasy, you know, story.
Right.
Hurricane reaching its way up the coast. Oh yeah, just like that movie where the boat gets flipped over by a big
Alright.
wave, you know?
So let's see here. All right, last topic with our last 2 minutes of this stream here, Max. What was your game of E3 ultimately?
Oh, this is probably obvious, but definitely Metroid.
Yep, same here.
Definitely. Yeah.
Not even a competition. Metroid Dread. The moment I saw, you know, and I love the way that they kind of faked you out a little bit. It's like, hey, we're still working on Metroid Prime 4. And then
I was like,
my
shit.
first thought was like, yeah, but you're not gonna fucking show it, are you?
You're not gonna show it, yeah. If
But then it's like,
you introduce it like that,
You know, while you wait, they go, while you wait, here's something else we think you'll enjoy. I'm like, what? They aren't doing another fucking stupid mobile, or not like mobile, like Federation Force game, are they? But then I saw Samus in her kind of sort of Fusion costume,
the Fusion
but
suit,
clearly she's worked on it a little bit since Fusion. And I'm like, oh, no, they're not. Is it Fusion 2? And then they show Dread, and like you know about like the whole history of Dread, right? Dread was like a phantom game. Like, no one was sure if that was even actually Nintendo's name for it. And
this was like even before Hunters, I think, right?
Oh yeah, but before
when Hunters
I think
was
Metroid,
shown, it was like, well,
I think
what the
Metroid
fuck?
Dread was talked about around the same time as Metroid Prime. Like when Metroid Fusion came out, I think that's when we, like, after Metroid Fusion is when we first started hearing about Dread, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird that they would call it Dread, because, you know, that seems like a weird turn for Metroid, but maybe not really, because it could be a kind of intense game sometimes, but whatever. And
Yeah.
then like you just heard nothing for 2 decades. And
Yeah. Oh, I had
like,
forgotten
It's
about
like,
it.
it's like
Like-
Shenmue 3. It's like, who would have fucking thunk, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, there's
It's,
that goddamn sniper.
When they like immediately you see Samus and then very quickly it just says Metroid 5 and I freaked out.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, 2D
immediately
Metroid.
needed a change of underpants.
And then they showed that little bit and I was like, I thought that was gonna be it, and that hyped me up. I was so excited for
Oh
that.
yeah, like
And then they just kept going and I
they
was
could
like,
have just
oh,
showed
this...
the words Metroid 5 and I would have been like, okay, pre-order.
Yeah, seriously. And then it just kept getting better. They kept showing more
I
and
know,
more, and I was like,
and it's like,
how long have they been
It
working
looks so
on this?
damn good. They've got.
And then they said October, and I was like, what?
I know. Like we're gonna play that on day 1 on Play the Hits this fucking year. Whoops.
Like,
Okay, I'm blowing the slide because I'm so excited.
I'm so used to things getting spoiled, and like especially big announcements like that you hear rumblings. Oh shit. Also, I don't know what happened to the stream. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, cool.
You're so used to hearing at least rumblings or some kind of spoilers that you were getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah, I
all of a
was.
sudden.
Because I'm focused so much more on Metroid
I know.
Dread right now.
That just came out of so left field, and then for it to be coming out in a few short months, I was like, okay, you guys did good with this one.
Yeah.
Like, how long have people been saying that there was like a drought of good Nintendo games? And you could have showed them this. You could have given like little crumbs, but you didn't.
No.
You waited until it was pretty much ready to go, and I love that. Like, Nintendo does that a lot, where it's just like, hey, here's this cool game you might like, and here's a great game, and oh yeah, it's coming out like in 3 months. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Well, and so like for me, as much as I'm gonna gobble up Metroid Prime 4 when that does one day come out, like this would actually be the game that I'm more pumped for.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Like
Easily.
side-scrolling Metroid is my jam.
Yeah, side-scrolling Metroid are some of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Like, Metroid, Super Metroid is probably my 5th, like, top 5 game. It's probably number 5, but still.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the great thing
fantastic.
is, like, you can tell it's a direct successor to from the people who made the Samus Returns
Zero Mission
remake,
and... Oh, yeah, for sure.
which was a great game, but in a weird way sort of went underappreciated by me. Like, don't get me wrong, I bought it on the 3DS and I played the shit out of it, but I was so enamored with AM2R that it kind of felt like the lesser game overall.
They were the same story, so it's kind of like you had to compare them.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And they're both remakes. One is just done by some very dedicated fans, and one is done officially by Nintendo. And in this instance, I feel like all of my favorite Metroid tropes were more represented by the fan community than by Nintendo themselves, weirdly enough. But that being said, though, I'm very excited to see Nintendo develop a completely original game with the Metroid 2 3DS engine, because I feel like they'll be less limited now that they're developing on the Switch instead of basically confining themselves to a GBA game.
Yeah, basically.
Even though the GBA game was excellent and Nintendo did an excellent job, it's just, I don't know, AM2R was honestly something unexpected and special, like from the community.
Yeah, it was crazy that was a fan-made game, like, because I would say it's like the definitive version, basically. That's the one I would want to go back to and play.
I hate to say it because Nintendo did a great thing in remaking Metroid 2. They just did it like 3 years too late.
Right.
Like,
but
if that had
also
come out,
seems...
if that had come out before AM2R, like, I would have gobbled that shit up, and I might have even passed on AM2R because I'd have been like, no, Nintendo already did that. I'm good.
Yeah. It seems like Metroid 5, I should call it Dread, but yeah, Metroid 5 seems a little quicker than Samus Returns. They still have, like,
I think that's just because the Switch is able to produce, like, higher frame rates and more graphics.
Okay, so maybe it just looks snappy. That's definitely possible. I am liking how it looks.
Samus Returns on the 3DS was definitely snappy.
Yeah,
Like it was
okay.
definitely fast paced. But you're right. I know what you mean, like visually.
Yeah, and it's visually, it's like, it's not like the graphics are fantastic. You know, it looks.
It looks good though.
Yeah, for me it looks almost rough graphically, but it's not a bad thing. I'm like, I just don't really care about that with.
No, like
you know,
honestly, like they could have made it sprite based, and I would have probably gone even more ape shit.
I was about to say, yeah, I would have been like, what? Like
if
but
they,
it
if
looks
they
good.
used like ultra high res sprites or something like that, I almost think like if there was one thing that would have made me even more hyped, that would have been it. But what we're getting is just wonderful, and I'm so excited.
I get that. I actually just got that feeling a little bit today. Not a feeling I'm used to. Is there's a fighting game that I really like back from like the PlayStation 2 days, and they haven't made a new one in like 8 or 9 years or something.
Yeah.
And they announced like a new version. It's Melty Blood. They announced a new version like 2 months ago, maybe not even.
Oh,
and then a trailer just came out today and gave a release date of like September, and they showed off the gameplay for the first time, and it's just higher res sprites. And I'm like, oh, like I thought they were going to go 3D or something like that, or they were going to use the same pixelated ones from the PS2 days and
what
just
the
still
fuck?
stick with that. What happened?
Jesus, hold on a second. Holy fuck. Oh my god.
Spider?
Dude.
What happened?
Like you ever like have something like out of the corner of your eye catch your attention and you're not sure if you saw something?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm playing, and if you know my game room setup, my computer is sitting right next to our backyard window, and right now it's pitch black outside.
Yeah.
But I saw something glimmer, I saw something move.
Ooh.
And I'm like, who the fuck is in my backyard?
Oh,
and
shit.
so
Okay.
I just took my cell phone and turned on the flashlight. It's a fucking raccoon.
Okay.
But like it
That's-
moved
that is
in such a
freaky.
way that it looked like it was a person's head walking right past the window, like
Oh,
2
shit,
feet away
dude.
from my desk. And that's why I was like, what the fuck? Because I thought it was the hair on their head, like at the bottom of the window. And I
Oh,
was like
Jesus.
about to like flip some shit. But
That's
then
the
like I
scary
looked down and
thing.
it wasn't the hair on the head, it was the hair on the raccoon on the ground. So it looked like
Your
a head.
brain, the assumptions we make, because
Holy
your
fuck,
brain
man.
has to make assumptions sometimes, you know,
Oh.
or else it'd be overloaded. You have a split second to see, is this danger or not?
Yeah, and I was like,
and
this is how Play the Hits is gonna become famous, by me getting murdered on on the show.
you interpreted it as
Oh
danger
my
in that split
God.
second, and I think that was the appropriate response.
Jesus,
What the fuck?
that's a go ahead and finish whatever you were saying about video games, and this will be the end of the
yeah.
show because I need to piss.
Yeah, now you need another change of pants.
Oh my god.
I was just saying, like, I was definitely expecting like the old pixel art, or maybe like them going 3D or something.
Yeah.
But it's like new art, and it's just like, I was not expecting that, especially with fighting games these days. They're either going the lazy route, or they're taking, you know, to some time to make 3D look good, like Arc System works with Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
But like King of Fighters, they went with like 11 and 12 with like these hand-drawn things that look amazing. And then 14 and 15, they're like, yeah, we're gonna go 3D and it's gonna look like ass. But so
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw this and it just, the game looks pretty good, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't expect them to, you know, make something that looked like this in the old style, and then to be like, oh yeah, and it's also almost about to release. Like,
Yeah.
it
Very
was,
sweet.
it was a good feeling.
Definitely. All right, dude. Well, hey, next time on Play the Hits, we're gonna. I think we may only have 2 episodes left of Miles Morales.
Okay, yeah, that's not,
it's
that's
a
not bad.
relatively short game campaign-wise, so I think next time we should get pretty much 3/4 of the way through, and yeah.
I like how kind of continuous this one is, where it's just like you pretty much are just following Miles.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. And like I said, there's a lot of side missions we could be doing. Like I did 2 of the construction sites just now for you, but
yeah,
there's a lot of extra content, but it's all really polished and really smooth, and yeah. So, hey, next time, man.
All right, man. We'll see you then.
See ya.